What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Burpee's comic book Asylum. Oh, let me out. So you're saying now that you're watching, you're like, oh, fuck, I already want out of this shit. If that is the case, go ahead and hit the stop button or the X at the top of your screen. Actually, it might be over here. Oh, where is it? But if you can find it, click it. I'll go away. Some people wouldn't mind that. But if you stick it out past the clicking the X and you don't want to do that, welcome aboard. You're now an inmate because you're crazy for watching this. You gotta be a little twisted. What's wrong with you? Naughty monkey. Alright. This week is the last week of the month, which means we are now moving into Burpee's top, well, I was going to say 10, but we have 11 this month. Burpee's top 11. Why is there 11? Well, one of them I didn't want to drop out of the list. I couldn't really decide, so it stays. You can critique me when you have your own show, and I'll be like, why do you only have 10? There's more good books than that. Anyway, so this week, somebody's going home with the title belt. Yes, I am that nerd in the Randy Orton shirt wearing a title belt. I am that guy, yes. And I did actually just get home from a WrestleMania party. Ooh, Del Rio got screwed, bitches. Screwed. The fuck? Anyway, that was completely non-comic book related, so I apologize. What else went down this week? Let's see. My wife found out she's pregnant. It's cool. I already got one little guy. I got a 2.5-year-old named Dexter Xavier. You've all seen him before. So I'm hoping with this second guy, I'm hoping it's another boy and we can get something Magnus. And then I'd have Dexter Xavier and blank Magnus. I've been pushing for Adam as a first name, A-T-O-M, instead of, the traditional Adam spelling. I think that works. It's a traditional name spelled non-traditionally. And it's pretty badass. But it'll probably get shot down. It got shot down, I think, already. That was pretty cool, though. For a little while, I had my wife on York, and then I got shot down, too. I'll keep you up to date on my quest to get my child a comic book name like my first child. If I can get Magnus pulled off, that will be incredible. As long as they don't start fighting each other, separating views. Ah, little babies don't fight! Oh, let's not forget Booster. What's up, everybody? Say hello to Booster. Always gotta have the Booster appearance here. I don't know what you may have heard out there, but that cover was wrong. I'm the Booster Gold fan numero uno, sons of bitches. Maggot and Booster, baby. Maggot and Booster. Make that crossover happen. Awesome. Speaking of Booster, we saw pictures of the Smallville episode coming up here. The first initial picture, Blue Beetle looks terrible. Does anybody else remember Battleborgs? If you're about my age, the Power Ranger thing exploded and they had VR Rangers. Come on, I'm taking you guys on a nostalgia trip here. They had VR Rangers, I don't know if they were even Rangers. They were VR something. And then the Power Rangers and the Battleborgs, or Battle Bugs. No, they're Battleborgs. They're Battleborgs. We'll see. Add picture here if I can find one. But the Battleborgs had a Jay Leno dude who ran their house, if I remember right. And then they had the Battleborgs, and they were these weird-looking Power Ranger bug dudes. And when I first saw a picture of Blue Beetle, that's the first thing I had was me's pretty sure it's a Beetleborg. Maybe they're Beetleborgs. I don't know. They were something fucking weird. They're Power Ranger bugs, I know that. The Blue Beetle costume totally good. And the Booster, I was just I didn't really have an opinion. Then they showed the pictures of the guy playing Booster. He's not a bad Booster, I'll take that. And then the suit was dynamic. That thing was fantastic. Had all the ads on it. It was very NASCAR-ish. It just looked fucking, that shit looked legit. That shit looked official. Official with a capital O. Oh, give me an O face. It was swanky, guys. Well, maybe not swanky, it's Smallville. It's Smallville swanky. Now if they can just pull off the episode I'll be excited because I don't want this. I don't want to see them butcher it, because then that might set the whole possibility of seeing a Booster Gold anything in mainstream media again, outside of Brave and the Bold, which would be amazing. Would just not work. So we'll see. We'll hold out hope, ladies and gentlemen. We saw the redo of the new Wonder Woman costume for the TV show. I approve of the redo. It looks pretty good. I'll watch that show. I'm not holding out hope that it's going to be like the greatest comic book adaptation ever. And I know for a fact you can't top the old Wonder Woman, Linda Carter. That one was gorgeous. Beautiful. Still, this day she could pull that suit off better than Palicki. Linda Carter, I love you, sweet baby. For your mind. Yeah. Let's get into it. Is the last week of the month, so we're looking to see what was the worst title. That'll be the first thing I'll do here. My least favorite title, not even worst title, just the title that I got and I didn't enjoy. It could be for a number of factors. It could be just because it was overhyped and it just didn't reach that ceiling or bust through that ceiling. It kind of mediocre that shit. Or it was just a bad book. If it's a bad book, I'm going to murder it because I paid more money for it, and if I don't like it, I don't like it. I'll try to be slightly respectful here. But sometimes, most of my bad books are books that, I really had a lot of hope for, and they didn't come through, and I'm just disappointed, and then it ends up in the bottom. Then outside of that, I'll go through my top books. This month we have 11, starting at 11 and working my way to numero uno. Number 1! The champion of the month, if you will. So, it should be fun. Let's do this. I think as far as the Asylum goes, we've never done this. So if you were an Asylum watcher, you didn't watch 4-color, this is a good element of 4-color, and I'm stealing it. Yes, because me and David came up with it, and now I'm just going to steal it outright. It's fun. You get all that negativity out there when you talk about books you don't like. Most of these books are books I love, so I can love. I just love comic books. So we'll start with my least favorite book of the month. Least favorite book of the month for me was Batman The Dark Knight, number Deuce. From David Finch, writing and arting. I did not like this issue. The first issue, I don't know. I like Finch's art, don't get me wrong. If you look at the column I do on Multiversity Comics, Burpee's Got You Covered, where I dissect covers and look over covers, the guy is number 2 on my list. And I only list the top 3, and he's sitting at number 2 at a very hefty amount of appearances on that list. So it's not that I don't enjoy the guy. The Batman work so far for issue 1, like I said, was Second issue, bad. I just did not enjoy it. His Penguin doesn't sit well with me. It's like an uglier version of the Batman Returns Danny DeVito Penguin, and that's pretty goddamn ugly. And I don't mind the ugly Penguin type style, but his version is just terrible. I'm sorry. I just cannot get into it. It jars me loose, especially now that I'm a huge Batman, 60s Batman TV show fan. So when I see the Burgess Meredith shit, I cannot get over how bad the David Finch stuff is. It just doesn't work for me. I like myself a suave, slightly disfigured little dude with a big nose. The completely bird-like, fucked up motherfucking thing just doesn't do it for me. It looks more Hills Have Eyes than it does the Penguin to me. I don't know. Call me crazy. And then the rest of Finch's art isn't too bad. The art I like. It's just his Penguin. The story, though, it's just kind of weak. I had a lot of high hopes for this book. I like me some David Finch. I think he did fantastic work on, things like Ultimate X-Men. He was on there for a little while. He did a fantastic job with just about every cover he did for, Second Coming, Messiah Complex. He's done some fantastic work on Ultimatum. And some people knocked that. I actually enjoyed it. And I just, for this book itself, and again, I'm not speaking on the entire work. I like David Finch's stuff on a general basis. It's just his last 2 issues of Batman: The Dark Knight, and unfortunately, I think that's probably going to be my last issue. Hopefully, I'll hear, at some point, oh no, you were totally wrong. It gets so much better past this point, and I'll go back and buy the trades gladly, because if Finch can pull this out, that's one man I'm pulling for. I like me some David Finch. But as far as that issue goes, that's unfortunately Burpee's worst of the month. Now, let's start in with the love. First up, we got Captain America number 616 by a whole multitude of writers and artists. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to name every writer and artist here. In the nature of keeping it slightly brief, which, if you've ever watched these Asylums, we're all about keeping it brief, ladies and gentlemen. Stay on topic. Let's go ahead and start with the cover. I love this cover. It's fantastic. I love everything about it. The trade dress is fantastic. The imagery is iconic. It's perfect. I love that the 70th anniversary issue, by the way, this is a complete geek aside, complete fanboy moment. I love that Captain America's 70th anniversary issue comes at issue 616, which is the Marvel Universe proper. Like that a lot. That's some really good timing. Outside of that, this book is basically a love letter to Captain America in all of his aspects. You get an initial opening page that's Brubaker and Charisette, Travis Charisette, the artist of the cover, which I love so much. And then from there, you get a typical Brubaker run, with Bucky, Cap, and whatnot, and what he's dealing with in prison. That's good stuff. But then after that, they go into basically like, hey, we've got these people who've not really done much work or haven't done any work on Captain America, and so we just have come to them and said, give us what you feel Captain America is to you. And what ensues is basically a giant love letter to a character that I actually really adore. It's such a well done issue. This is how you do an anniversary issue, okay? You don't put in back content that you already own, like, oh look, we're at Wolverine number 75. Let's put in the back issue number 25. Oh, cool. And well, guess what? We'll make it $5 more expensive. That's not how you do it. What you do is you put a bunch of original content in here, and $4.99 is totally doable for this for me. I don't know what the exact page count is, but there's no ads here. It's just straight through comic book for $5. This is good stuff. I know DC's holding the line at $2.99, but I felt this $5 comic had quite the impact. And if you're looking at the comic book industry as a whole, I think there's a lot of focus on, what the price point is. But for me, if you give me a larger price point and you can back it up with some solid content, I don't care. Charge it up. And this is one of those cases where it's a $5 comic. It's not as expensive as it could be, I think. And you get the full value. There's a lot of good stuff. The Frank Thierry stuff here, and if you know me or you follow me on Twitter or you know me through anything, I love me some Frank Thierry. One of the best Wolverine writers of all time. That's right, I said it. Completely underrated. Don't care what you think. It's a fact. Unfortunately, he's not a Red Sox fan, but nobody's perfect. But Frank Thierry, I love me some Frank Thierry. And his story here was so badass. I hope they follow up on it. It's basically a Hitler clone let loose. He's like an art dealer, and he's drawn himself out all kinds of swastikas and can't figure out why. Very cool. Would love to see either Bucky Cap or Cap take him on. And I would not mind seeing Frank Thierry follow up on that. I'd buy a miniseries of that. I don't know, if Brubaker's ever leaving, which I hope he doesn't, ever chain him to a Cap desk forever, and I'll be happy. But I'd buy some Frank Thierry Cap, just like I'd buy some Frank Thierry basically anything. I like me some Frank Thierry. But overall, Captain America 616, the Marvel proper 70th anniversary issue. Fantastic work. Take my hat off to all creators involved, as well as Marvel editorial, the individuals who put together these trade dresses on top of these beautiful images, and everybody involved with this book. This was a very, very, very well put together book. That's how you do an anniversary book. That's my vote, at least. What do I know, though? I just buy lots of comics. Alright, next up, we got Powers number 7. Brian Michael Bendis and Michael Oeming. Awesome cover. Can I go ahead and point that out? That was a sweet cover. Look at that. Beautiful cover. I love me some covers. Getting into the story itself, though, we've got Dina back, and Walker obviously is around with his new partner, and it's a very awkward situation when they all finally meet up. But overall, best Powers issue in quite a while, probably since they kind of relaunched there on us after coming to Icon. Man, what a good book. I love the aspect of it's kind of, like with the Ultimate Thor, where you didn't know if he was really a god or not, or he was just some superpowered nut job. In this issue, you've basically got Walker and his new partner working a beat where they're dealing with these gods, which are much like that Ultimate Thor, where you're not sure if they're really gods or if they're all a bunch of whacked out nut jobs who belong in the Asylum. But overall, they're getting whacked one by one, and so they're trying to find out what's going on before it all happens. And it's just such a good book. It's really good, because you're falling and you're like, oh, ooh, are they gods? Or are they fucking nuts like me? And you're not sure. And then by the end of the issue, it's like, oh shit, that whole lead went down to fucking nothing. I don't want to spoil it here, but if you read it, you know what I'm talking about. Overall, great book. I'm glad to see a Powers issue. I mean, honestly, I'm just happy to see Powers. It comes out too infrequently, in my opinion. This is a really solid book. If you're not buying Powers, highly recommend it. I mean, hell, it comes out once every 5 months, which, sucks. But that just means you're spending less yearly on the book. So what's your excuse for not buying it, right? Come on. I'm trying to help you guys here. Anyway. If you're going to drop a book, make sure it's not Powers, because you can get it every once in a while, and it's only $3.95. Anyway, great book. I mean, all jokes aside, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I highly recommend it, and I hope that we start seeing more of this awesome Power. All new story, new format, more pages, more awesome. Really enjoyed it. That was my number 10 book of the month. Okay. Moving on, we got number 9. We got Incognito by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Another fantastic cover. I look at books that make this list to have the well-rounded package. Anyway, in this book, you've got the penultimate chapter here. You've got all kinds of stuff here. I don't even know where to begin. This book is just that good. Zach Overkill is such a great new character. I'm really disappointed as this hits this last week of this month. The number 5 issue came out, so this mini is done. So we've got 2 straight Incognitos that have been fantastic, and now I'm just at a point where I'm waiting for the next issue. Number 4, though, probably is one of my favorite of the 5 for this new series here. Zach Overkill is just the man. Zapping at the beginning of the book with the guy in the hood just zapping people's brains out and shit. Pretty spectacular. Then you get into Zach Overkill kind of realizing that he was a real super dick to some of his, quote, friends / henchmen, resulting in that henchman hanging himself, which was disturbing and awesome, but not quite as disturbing and awesome as some of the other factors of the book, such as, we find it, it's in here, kids with chainsaw knife hand fighting, or something of that nature. I will find it. It does exist. It's toward the front, though. I'm gonna find it. You just wait a second. I'll serenade your face. Serenade your face. There they are. Oh. Look at that. What the fuck is that shit? Brubaker, you are a stone cold pimp, and your ideas, while sometimes slightly offensive, are awesome. The knife fighting children is so cool. But overall, the book was just so good. And then you've got, Zach getting captured at the end. He's just kind of like, fuck you. Take me to your leader. I'm gonna fuck you all on your assholes. Fantastic shit. Again, number 5 was really good. It was a good, solid ending. But number 4 was my favorite of that probably series. Number 1 of the new was pretty good too. But that was my number 9, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on to 8.